Nice launch checkdown countdown net. Pad is clear.
10, 9, 8.
Launch auto sequence has started.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Go for launch.
Vehicle is supersonic.
Stage separation confirmed. Dragon, separation confirmed. Stage 1 is transonic. Landing legs have deployed. And Falcon 9 has landed.
You are looking at a live view of Falcon 9 and Dragon awaiting liftoff from Launch Complex 39A at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. In just over 18 minutes, Falcon 9 will lift off carrying Dragon and the CRS-31 mission to the International Space Station. Good evening, I'm Yomei Zhou, a lead propulsion engineer here at SpaceX. Dragon will deliver about 3 tons of science, supplies, and equipment to the space station and will return with over 4,000 pounds in about a month. After an almost 13-hour flight, Dragon will autonomously dock to the space station on Tuesday, November 5th at approximately 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. This mission will mark SpaceX's 105th flight of 2024 and Dragon's 5th trip to the station this year. Today's spacecraft will be the first Dragon supporting a cargo mission to fly for the 5th time, and coincidentally, the Falcon 9 booster supporting today's mission will also be making its 5th flight. Reusability is key to everything we do here at SpaceX, and to date, we've reflown Dragon spacecraft on 27 missions and Falcon boosters on 333 missions combined. Dragon is the only U.S. vehicle flying today that can fly round-trip to and from the space station, carrying vital supplies and returning safely with critical cargo. The spacecraft flying today may also be the first Dragon to perform initial tests once docked with the station that demonstrate Dragon's reboost capability. These tests are designed to show Dragon's ability to control the station's attitude and altitude, with more on that in just a few minutes. Now, over at the pad, propellant loading began about 15 minutes ago and will complete at the T-minus 2-minute mark. Weather is looking great with only a 30% probability of violating launch weather constraints. The eastern range is green and ready to support, and everything is looking good as we count down to an instantaneous launch attempt at 9:29 p.m. Eastern Time today. With that, let's check in with Joseph at NASA in Houston.
I'm coming to you live from the International Space Station, a flight control room at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, where our flight controllers, led by Flight Director Ron Spencer and his Gemini flight team, are monitoring the International Space Station, Dragon's ultimate destination after tonight's launch. We're closely following the launch and collaborating with you and the teams in Hawthorne, as well as the Falcon 9 team at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida, to ensure that all launch criteria are met. Now, earlier in the countdown, a device called the Lab Router that enables telemetry for the crew on board the International Space Station to monitor Dragon went down. The crew was then briefly awakened from their sleep shift and recycled that router successfully. And right now, I am happy to report that the teams here in Mission Control are go for launch. The International Space Station and its crew members, including NASA astronaut and Commander Sonny Williams, Butch Wilmore, Don Pettit, and Nick Hague, are ready to welcome Dragon with its anticipated docking tomorrow morning. The crew is rested and ready to receive Dragon after witnessing the relocation of Crew 9's Dragon spacecraft after relocating from the forward-facing port of the station's Harmony module, Node 2, or the zenith-facing port of the module to clear its path for the arrival of the commercial resupply mission. Now, as we shift our focus here in Houston to the countdown for Dragon, I'll hand it back to you in Hawthorne for more details on the vehicles involved in this mission. Yomei?
As we continue to count down, let's take a closer look at the vehicles that will be taking CRS-31 to the space station today. Sitting atop the Falcon 9 rocket, Dragon and its trunk stand about 27 feet tall. Dragon has 16 Draco thrusters that can be used in space to help navigate the spacecraft to its destination, each providing 90 pounds of force. Dragon's trunk attached below the spacecraft holds solar cells that power Dragon while it's in free flight. And the trunk can also carry unpressurized cargo, which it will be doing today. About 50 seconds after separation, Dragon's nose cone deploy sequence will begin exposing its guidance navigation controls that help Dragon autonomously fly to the space station. The nose cone also houses the docking mechanism that will connect with the station. Dragon has played a significant role in advancing our future in space by safely transporting crew and cargo to and from the space station. Altogether, the reusable Dragon spacecraft fleet has completed 9 human spaceflight missions on behalf of NASA and has both visited the station and returned to Earth 43 times under NASA's commercial resupply and commercial crew programs. This particular spacecraft has supported 4 previous commercial resupply missions for NASA, including CRS 21, 23, 25, and 28. And launching Dragon to orbit today is Falcon 9, a 2-stage rocket developed and manufactured by SpaceX, known for its safe, reliable, and cost-effective access to space. Just underneath Dragon, we have the second stage of the vehicle. The second stage is powered by a single Merlin vacuum engine, or MVac, which is optimized to perform in the vacuum of space. And that second stage will secure Dragon's entry into low Earth orbit before separating, leaving Dragon to continue its journey to the space station on its own thrusters. Just below the second stage is the first stage, which contains 8 engines arranged around one center engine, all held in place by a structure called the octaweb. Each of these Merlin 1D engines delivers about 190,000 pounds of thrust at sea level, which gives Falcon 9 a combined 1.7 million pounds of thrust. The booster supporting today's mission previously launched 4 missions, including Crew 8, Polaris Dawn, and 2 Starlink missions. Now, with T0 coming up in just about 12.5 minutes, our teams in Florida are doing a series of system checks to ensure Dragon and Falcon 9 are ready to fly. Now, while on station, the CRS 31 spacecraft flying today may also perform 2 initial tests to demonstrate Dragon's ability to control the space station's attitude as well as Dragon's reboost capability. Reboosts are necessary to counteract the effects of atmospheric drag, which can cause the station to lose altitude. Once the station is in a configuration for SpaceX's reboost demo, the aft Draco engines in the service section will fire for just over 12 minutes and give the station a boost. SpaceX has partnered with NASA on the creation of control algorithms to help guide and steer the Dragon and ISS through these dynamic events, which will be the first time Dragon performs tests of this nature on station. SpaceX will leverage data collected during CRS-31 to inform important analyses, which will support future enhanced capabilities and programs like the U.S. Deorbit Vehicle, or USDV. NASA selected SpaceX to develop and deliver the USDV, which will be used to deorbit the space station in a controlled manner after the end of its operational life in 2030. The USDV will be based on today's Dragon, but will feature a redesigned, larger trunk section with more Draco thrusters to help lower the station's orbit. The vehicle will also need 6 times the usable propellant and 3 to 4 times the power generation and storage of today's Dragon spacecraft. Falcon 9 and Dragon have played a significant role in advancing our future in space by safely transporting both crew and cargo to and from the space station. There are currently 3 Dragon capsules used for cargo missions, which have collectively flown 10 CRS missions to date, and there are 4 capsules supporting human spaceflight that have docked to the station. Their names are Endeavour, Resilience, Endurance, and Freedom. Crew 9 arrived on board Dragon Freedom, which is currently docked to the station and is SpaceX's 15th human space mission since 2020, when Dragon became the first private spacecraft to take humans to the International Space Station. As Joseph mentioned, Crew 9 actually just completed a port relocation maneuver from the forward port to the zenith port over the weekend to make room for CRS-31 launch today. Now, as the countdown continues, let's check back with Joseph at JSC.
Thank you very much, Yome. Teams here in Houston continue to monitor the countdown of NASA's SpaceX CRS-31 mission with everything on track for a successful launch. 2024 has been a year of important achievements for the International Space Station, showcasing what's possible through collaboration, as NASA's 31st commercial resupply mission with SpaceX marks the 12th launch to the orbiting laboratory this year. And it's clear that success in space is a collective effort, built on dedication and teamwork. Let's take a closer look at how this team effort has kept the station thriving throughout the year.
The year began with Progress 87 delivering essential supplies to the International Space Station. NASA's SpaceX 29th commercial resupply mission followed, bringing critical research and hardware, ensuring support for science aboard the orbiting laboratory. Axiom Mission 3 expanded the station's research capabilities, introducing new perspectives from around the world. In March, NASA's SpaceX Crew 8 launched from Florida, each crew's transition mirroring the importance of coordination and teamwork in maintaining station operations. As the year progressed, NASA's 30th resupply mission with SpaceX and the arrival of additional crew aboard Soyuz MS-25 sustained the flow of research, resources, and explorers. Progress 88 reinforced the station's supply chain, maintaining momentum for new scientific discoveries. As summer arrived, Boeing's Crew Flight Test marked a key milestone in human spaceflight. And Northrop Grumman's NG-21 mission delivered supplies critical to daily life and research. The arrival of Soyuz MS-26 added to the station's capability for long-duration human spaceflight. With the recent arrival of Crew 9, the station continues to be a hub of progress and global cooperation. It's a place where scientists and explorers from across our planet work together, advancing our understanding of life in space, creating opportunities for the future. Every mission this year, from cargo deliveries to crewed launches and hosting 25 residents, reminds us that space exploration is a shared endeavor. The commitment and adaptability of countless individuals, both on Earth and in orbit, keep the station thriving. As we look ahead, we remain focused on building a future where exploration continues to push boundaries for all humanity.
As we reflect on the accomplishments of 2024, it's clear that every milestone aboard the International Space Station is made possible through the dedication and teamwork of countless individuals around the world. And that journey doesn't stop there. This mission is set to deliver over 3 tons of critical cargo, including scientific hardware and samples that will advance our understanding of the physical and biological phenomena. The microgravity environment of the space station provides a unique opportunity to conduct research that can drive new technologies for deep space exploration and improve life back here on Earth. Behind every experiment, there are scientists and engineers who have spent months, sometimes years, preparing for this moment. Let's take a look at some of the science heading to the station.
NASA and its international partners are launching scientific investigations on SpaceX's 31st commercial resupply services mission to the International Space Station. The Coronal Diagnostic Experiment, or CODEX, will examine solar wind and create a global comprehensive data set to help scientists validate theories for what heats solar wind, which is 1,000,000 degrees hotter than the sun's surface. A live Antarctic moss will be studied to understand the effects of cosmic radiation and microgravity on plants. Results could help identify biological systems suitable for use in bioregenerative life support systems on future missions. Dozens of samples will be exposed to space to evaluate material stability and to help researchers better understand the impacts of spaceflight. Results could support better design for spacecraft and satellites. Researchers will demonstrate cold welding techniques in space and evaluate sample integrity.